Are you struggling with your weight loss goals and you just can't seem to figure out what the heck is wrong, what to fix in order to finally start making some progress? If so, chances are you're probably not yet understanding your nutrition. One of the first things I do with my coaching clients is to recommend that they start tracking their food. Without tracking what we're eating, it's really hard to understand what our macronutrient breakdown is of the food we're eating and how many total calories are we getting each day. Either if it's too much or too little, and the macronutrient profile could be completely off. So it's really important to get a better understanding and to get that data. If you're trying to lose weight and you are not having a food journal of some sort, you're really kind of like flying blind and hoping you get to where you want to get. Another benefit of tracking your food is that it helps with portion control. So the hang up for most people is that when they start to try to lose weight, they think they have to start drastically reducing everything they're eating. And shockingly, that's actually not necessarily the case. So my goal for you is to learn how to portion control and understand the macronutrients that you're eating so that you can actually eat enough to feel full and content and energized, love the food you're eating, and still lose weight, because it is totally possible. And honestly, the easiest way to do that is through tracking your macros. It's a game changer. There's a ton of different food tracking apps out there and food diaries, and you could even write it down in a notebook if you really wanted to. I use the MyFitnessPal app, and I think it's a really good one. I'm sure there's other ones that are just as good, but in this video, I'm gonna be talking about the MyFitnessPal, but many of the things I'm gonna be sharing should apply to most food diary apps that you might be using. So like I said about flying blind, we want to take all of that away. We want to understand how much we should be eating, and then we wanna be tracking how much we're eating. So in order to understand how much, we need to calculate our macros. If you don't yet understand your personal macros or even what macronutrients are, go check out my video on how to calculate your macros for weight loss. I walk through the entire thing and explain why you need to know it and how to do it for yourself. Then, once you watch that, come back to this video and it'll make a lot more sense. And I do want to quickly mention that I don't recommend allowing MyFitnessPal to calculate how many calories and macros you should be following. They do an amazing job of tracking your food and keeping that in their database, but they don't do the best job of assessing your actual needs and your daily fitness level and all of that stuff and spitting out the right numbers for you. I do recommend that you get those calculated on your own or you have a professional do it for you. So let's start talking about the basics of MyFitnessPal so that you understand how to basically get in there, put in your macros that you should be following and track them so that you can understand at a baseline what you're eating and how to get to where you want to get to. So from the home screen on MyFitnessPal, select Diary from the bottom navigation bar. This is the MyFitnessPal food diary. It's used to log individual food items into various meal plans like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, though these are customizable. Then to add food into a mealtime, you're gonna select the plus add food button underneath. So let's say I had 2 large brown eggs. So I'm gonna enter 2. And then you can also see on the nutrition facts dropdown, the macronutrient and micronutrient even breakdown of the food that you're about to track. This can be really helpful to look at and understand as you learn more about nutrition, or if you're adding in foods that you haven't done before and you wanna see, hey, what is the macronutrient breakdown in this? Is it something I even wanna eat? Now, once you've tracked your food, you can also look at your total nutrition for the day, which combines everything. And so you click on the top nutrients remaining, and then you can break it down from macros to nutrients to calories. And then you can see at a high level how you're tracking for the day as compared to your goals. And also you can see what foods have been in the highest portions of those macros. So for example, if you had a ton of fat in a day and then you would look on the bottom list, or it might be something that you didn't even expect would be high in fat, like a protein shake because you added too much peanut butter, for example. Also, I should note that when you come across items that have that green check on them, that means that they're a verified food by MyFitnessPal. This means it's been cross-checked and it's likely the most accurate option, but it doesn't mean it's perfect. So I do recommend doing a gut check and being like, oh sweet, these donuts only have 190 calories in them and there's no fat. Well, maybe that's not the case. One super helpful feature of MyFitnessPal is you can actually go in and scan a barcode of a food that you're gonna eat, assuming it has a barcode that also matches to a food that's in MyFitnessPal. It's about 80% accurate. So if you have a barcode, chances are it's going to be in MyFitnessPal, which is really cool. Now, there's a lot of other features to MyFitnessPal that are very helpful. A lot of tips and tricks you can do. You can save a full meal in there that you have often. You can copy and take a whole day and copy it to the next day so that you just can kind of repeat your days. You can track water intake, your weight, your steps. There's all sorts of good stuff that's in there. On those types of features, plus more like tips and tricks, let me know in the comments below, and if you want me to add a new video, and I'd be happy to add more information. But I didn't want to overwhelm you in this video because we still have some stuff to talk about. So now I want to show you how to create goals in MyFitnessPal so that you can track actually what you want to be tracking in your diary. So you can click on the More option in the bottom nav bar, and then you click Goals. So I'd start by making your protein roughly 34% of your nutritional intake, your fat 30% of your nutritional intake, and your carbs at 36% of your percentage of your total caloric intake. These are kind of general understandings in general for someone who's wanting to lose some weight, who is overweight. And this is why I like the Pro version, because in the Pro version, you're allowed to actually break that down into grams instead of looking at percentages. In the 3 version, you're kind of tied by the percentages that MyFitnessPal allows you to do. One other tip that I recommend doing with your MyFitnessPal is going in and turning off the exercise calories option on the bottom of the goals page. So if it's left on, it's gonna take into account the amount of calories that you are burning in your workouts, and it's gonna add to your total calories that you're allowed to eat in a day. So you're not gonna really be tracking your actual macros that you're trying to follow. Instead, it's gonna be adding in and making it seem like you can eat more because you're working out. But if you have your macros correctly calculated, you've already taken your exercise into account when you've calculated those macros. So overall, I really like this app as a method to gathering data to better understand your weight loss journey and to better fine-tune your behavior so that they align with your goals. So like if you plateau, it's really easy to see, okay, I'm hitting this every day. I'm hitting my macros. Look at how consistent I've been. I'm doing my workouts. Everything is going well. Maybe it's time to actually change how many calories I'm eating in a day, or maybe I need to change something else. But that way you actually have something to look at and data to assess rather than just feeling like you're not getting anywhere. It really helps with that problem. And also, like I was saying, it can be really easy to misjudge portion size. So this is really helpful. You don't have to get a scale, but it is helpful. You don't have to use these measuring cups, but it is helpful. And over time, you do learn how to do it on your own more. So if you are just getting started and you just really don't understand food amounts, it can be mind-blowing how wrong you might be on portion size. So I do recommend that as a way to get more data as well. If you have any more questions on tips and on MyFitnessPal or tracking food in general, share them below, and let me know if you want me to make another video on it. And I will see you in the next video.